The offseason is over. Let's grade it.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. We are your team every day. I'm Matt Cozy, and I'm a lifelong fan, taking my passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. And I'm joined today by JT Henderson, an everyday listener of ours. JT, thanks for being with me today.
Matt, really appreciate being here and co-hosting with you today. I'm sorry JoJo couldn't be here with me today. He would love to help.
Yeah, well, I rest assured, I hope he's doing well, and
he's good.
And he's looking forward to the season, right?
He is all hyped up. Yep.
That's awesome. All right, today on the show, we have courtesy of JT, had a great third segment idea as Valentine's Day is later this week. Irrational love of random Cubs. We'll get also into some opponent talk as well. Brewers Red Sox trade on Monday that does have Cubs implications, as the Matt Shaw talks, if there even were any, are likely done. And officially 13 Cubs players in the World Baseball Classic. And we start with a final offseason report card for the Cubs as they enter the 2026 season. JT, I was thinking about it today, about this phrase, banner offseason, and some of the irony behind it and implications of it, because the goal is to hang a banner, whether that's NL Central champs, ultimately a World Series. But whatever adjective you want to attach to it, it was a great last few months. I know it didn't happen at everybody's convenient pace all the time, but to sign 7 players to major league deals, with one of them being a huge deal and making one big trade, I feel really good right now. How about you?
Yeah, I am not too ashamed to admit this, but I got on the roller coaster, the offseason roller coaster this year. And maybe that's by virtue of me I've been a fan probably a little longer than you because I'm a little older. And I've just seen this movie before way too many times, especially in the last 5 years. So I remember every time somebody would sign that I thought would look good in pinstripes, I sent off a text to my brother, and all it would say is, "Nah, we don't need fill in the blank. We don't need Dylan Cease. Nah, we're good. We don't need." And I was on the roller coaster, man, and it was going down more than it was going up. And I hear people like you saying, and it was wise at the time, let's let Jed do what he does. And there was no track record to doing what he did because we've gone so cheap the last couple of years. But I got to tell you, I got to hand it to him. He cooked. He got an A this offseason.
Yeah, I don't see how it couldn't be an A. I could maybe see why you would dip into the low 90s or the A- category. Even being a teacher, the minuses and pluses, I'm not, don't thrill me. The solid grade would be my preference. It just seemed like the Cubs' preference from the beginning was, what could we do with our somewhat of our surplus of prospects? Could that bring the Cubs a starting pitcher? And if it did, because that cost would be of a cost control, in Edward Cabrera's case, only about $4 million, well, then they had the room to land a big fish on the offensive side. And as much as I would have liked to persuade myself that Owen Casey was going to hold it down and Moises Ballesteros, and for the all 162, if this team was going to build off the momentum from last year, they did have to land a big fish offensively. And for it to happen in a matter of days, JT, to trade for Cabrera and sign Bregman, it was just a great feeling last month. And the Cubs are serious about the division. And I think they're serious about the goal we've stated on this show before too, which should be the Final Four.
Yeah, as I was looking back and thinking about this, a couple of themes really kept developing. And one of them is depth and redundancy. And I know Jed talks about that all the time. And he's spoken about that the last 5-6 years that he's been in charge, but I really think he has it now. And it obviously takes some time to build up to that. And like you were saying, with those high level prospects that we had in AA and AAA, they were being bottlenecked. Owen Casey's not going to play over Saya. He's not going to play over Ian Happ, PCA. So we had to do something with them. And thankfully it lined up and we were able to get someone like Cabrera. But you could see that plan that Jed was meticulously put in place a couple of years ago. Let's stack up some prospects. Let's develop them, get them to the high levels of the minor leagues. And then when they're on the cusp, obviously we can't play everybody. Then we'll make our move and we'll, fill in where we need them on the major league club.
Yeah. And how excited are you for the inclusion of Bregman?
Oh, that's another theme that I thought developed this offseason was they really went for intangibles. When you can his makeup, you consider his leadership, you consider Edward Cabrera's and Hunter Harvey's stuff. Jed really leaned in on some intangibles this year that he hadn't done in the past. It seemed like in the past it was all analytics based in terms of, who can pitch to contact, who are those guys that are below the radar that we can sign them and then they can exceed their expectations. Or on the hitting side, who are the guys that the labs and the nerds like? This year, I think he kind of went against that, and he put a premium on Bregman's leadership, his character, the fact that he's a gym rat, and I love it. I think he's going to slide right into this squad and this roster and this clubhouse, and he's going to be great there.
Yeah, it's been fun to see him just in the last 24 hours or so.
Yeah.
Out there at Sloan in the Cubs stuff. And I know he's going to represent the USA well. We'll get to that later, but I just really excited for him to play in real games with this team that we love. And I think the front office, to your point, did expose themselves this offseason.
Yeah.
Hey, this stuff matters. Personality matters. Leadership matters. And for the time and place the Cubs are in, they felt like they needed a player like that. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
It's nice to swim in those waters.
Yeah. Because he was – you could make a case he was the second best hitter on the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was really heartened when The Athletic came out with their off-season grades, and they only gave 7 teams A's. So 7 of 30. 2 of them were anomalies. Pittsburgh, who just spent like drunken sailors, and they added Ozuna today. So they continue to spend, which
made moves.
Good for them. Yeah. Great baseball town. They're going to be a lot better. And then the Nationals got an A, but that was by virtue of them selling off and getting a bunch of prospects. Yeah. However, the other 5 who got A's were all big market clubs who spend money and throw their wallets around. And guess who is included this year? The Chicago Cubs, finally.
Yeah, it's encouraging. They should be. And the one area that lost the most talent was the bullpen, and that's really where Jed struck first. He made the Phil Maton deal before Thanksgiving. Then they weren't all consecutive because I think the Tyler Austin signing snuck in there, but he basically went Maton, Milner, Thielbar, Harvey, and Webb in a row. And so you look at the roster, it's dare I say, a complete roster.
Well, I think you all talked about this the other day, and this is a departure of where we've been the last couple of years. I think 7 of the 8 bullpen spots, like you all said, they're already spoken for. We're just talking about one of them to start the year, right?
At least on paper, yes.
Yeah. And going into it years past, I would say we had 3 or 4 maybe that were definite, and it was just everybody fighting them out. So that's a different look. I think that this year's spring training is going to have a different feel because so many of the things are already set. So you got guys that are going there that are just working to get ready on day one. They're not having to compete with, except for that 4th outfielder and then maybe that last bullpen spot. We got guys that are already set. So they're able to process it and build themselves up. Now, some of them are going to the WBC, but I just think it's going to have a much different feel this year in spring training.
Absolutely. Much different. A lot of established guys, and to have only 2 of the 26 spots really legitimately up for grabs. speaks to the offseason, and I just don't see a path to anything less than an A. All right, JT, good stuff so far. We're going to move from the offseason to the World Baseball Classic next. Today's episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with the local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. I uploaded all my documents last March, and a trusted experts helped me. Plus, it was a huge time saver and gave me real peace of mind knowing an expert was handling it. And for a limited time, you could have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. For TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by the end of this month on February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today with TurboTax. Thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club, which includes access to ad-free audio for Locked On Cubs, compatible with Apple, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. Go to lockedoncubs.supercast.com or check the link in this episode description. There are 8 Cubs players of the main core group participating in the World Baseball Classic, which begins next month, and there are 13 total players from the organization. The main 8 are, I'll sound it out here, information source here. Main 8, Miguel Amaya from Panama, Javier Assad, Mexico, Matthew Boyd, Alex Bregman, and Pete Crow-Armstrong, United States. Daniel Palencia, Venezuela, Seiya Suzuki, Japan, and Jamison Tyone, Canada. There's potential benefits here, potential concerns. JT, my first thing I did want to ask you, especially as a father of a kid who's really getting into baseball, do you guys plan to watch this?
I've already got the games in my calendar.
Oh, that's really cool.
So yeah, we're all in. I know you guys were kind of debating how excited you're going to be, and I understand your point about not wanting to get guys hurt and stuff. I am so excited about this. You know, I love the Summer Olympics. Baseball has never really been a thing in the Olympics, and this is kind of supplemented that. I think it's a really cool event. It has, you know, I don't remember it being a big deal up until the last time with fans or with players, but now I think there are like 87 former All-Stars that are playing in the WBC. Guys are really buying in. Obviously, we got Skeens and Scooble at the top of the pitching lineup. It's going to be awesome. So yes, JoJo and I are so excited to watch.
That's cool. Yeah, there was a spark, I feel, in 2023.
Yeah.
And then the buy-in from there has been really, really impressive, both from the fans, the infrastructure, especially on the USA side, with you know, the kind of the front office on down, Mark DeRosa to picking the players. I think it is going to be good for the sport. I reserve the right to change my mind on this. And I feel like even as I talk to you, I am a little bit not practicing what I usually preach, because like worry is no way to live. And we're talking about baseball. We're talking about our favorite team. I don't have any control over this. We know, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. We don't have a crystal ball, to go to one of my favorite phrases after Imai signed. Uh, I do. I want to enjoy it. I don't think I want to be in a posture of, oh, I'm so worried. Did anybody get injured today? Like I don't think that's what I want to do. I'm just so jacked up for the year, the regular season, that I want the current 26 projected, JT. I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this poses a risk to that dream, but uh, I'm going to think positively and be optimistic. I think there's three clear front runners here: U.S.,
Definitely.
Japan, and Dominican Republic.
Yep.
And I think the USA Japan game in 23, the championship, gave the sport a lot of momentum too in this event. But nice representation for the Cubs, which again speaks to the type of ceiling this team has.
Absolutely. I feel like we just had a therapy session for you, Matt, and I didn't want to interrupt you because you just, if I had a couch here, you could lay down on the side and just talk to me. I was prepared to come to you and tell you, you can't let fear and worry, run your life here. I do feel, and I think Sam said this yesterday. Yeah. I feel like Sam said this yesterday. A lot of the injuries that may or may not happen in WBC would probably happen in spring training. I'm thinking of pitchers and stuff. The thing that concerns me is those weird, freaky injuries, like, Bregman stealing second, sliding in, and he busts a finger up or something. Those are the ones that will, haunt us if they happen. But those things can happen in a spring training game just as easily.
No, you're right. You're right. And yeah, Sam had a unique twist to the mindset of it, which I think does help in a way. One player I am looking at, and I'm not going to take his performance and I'm not going to look too much into it, but the one guy of the 8 was actually, there's two of the 8 of this main group that's in the WBC that I will pay attention to, more of like results oriented things, is going to be Miguel Amaya, because he started to break out last year. And if he does well in the WBC, that to me will be an indicator of, oh, he just picked up where he left off against the best pitching, and he looks great behind the plate. Like that does matter to me a little bit. And then the other guy is Palencia, especially if he's out there in the 8th or the 9th and he's hitting 100, 101. He holds, not only holds serve, but then some. I think those two guys, I do think you could look more into their results.
So I wrote down what I'm excited about in the WBC. Right. And one of the things was the beginning of the Miguel Amaya bounce back.
Man, we're clicking here.
Yeah, we are. We're vibing. So okay. I just think, like you said, he had so much time off, basically all of last season. Him ramping up really quickly this offseason, I think will help him in April when the regular season starts, because he's going to have had some tough at bats. He's going to play in some pressure situations that he didn't get to at all last year. So I really think this is going to be the beginning of the bounce back year for Miguel Amaya. It's interesting you said that about Palencia. One of the things I'm scared about is that he's going to get so ramped up, he's going to try to throw 106 miles an hour.
Yeah, overthrow, basically.
Yeah. But I love that guy. The other person that I wrote down was PCA and his development. Now, we all know what kind of player he is and what kind of mindset he attacks the game. And I use that word specifically, that he attacks the game with. I'm excited to watch him amongst the best players in the world. And I think we all know that his game elevates during the showcase moments. So I'm really excited about that. So then I'll talk about the other side of that equation. I really worry that if he slumps in the WBC, then that's just going to start off in the beginning of the year. So really excited to watch PCA and see what he does.
Yeah. And I believe that part of that is going to be up to him.
Yep.
If he can flush it, whatever happens in the WBC, like, who cares, dude? Just, we're ready to put you in center field. You're playing every day, or just about. But you're right. I think it's not hard to see him rise to the occasion and get a big hit off Yamamoto, or make a big play on a Vlad Jr. line drive or whatever it is. So that's cool. Just to be thorough here, the other 5 guys. So the main 8, but there's 13 in the organization, whether that's a non-roster guy or a minor leaguer. Christian Betancourt, Jonathan Long, BJ Murray, Yaxel Rios, and Irian Rodriguez, the other guys competing. Anything else on the WBC?
Yeah, we really have the backstop position for Panama locked down with Betancourt and Amaya. Both those guys are Cubs.
Yeah, how about that?
Maybe that's our secondary team that we root for.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we should pick a second team.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm game to look at that. They're up there. Here's another one for you. Any idea who the youngest player in the WBC is?
Youngest player? Is it? Ooh. No, I don't.
Okay.
What I was thinking of was the Pirates shortstop this year might be the youngest player in the league, but that's separate.
Joseph Contreras, 17 years old. He's going to play for Brazil. He is the son of Jose Contreras. He used to pitch for the Yankees and on the South Side.
Yeah, I remember him well. Good old number 52.
Yep.
Okay.
How crazy is that?
It is. No, it is. 17. Wow, that's young.
Here's my last thing for you on just little tidbits. This is the first time in the WBC that both reigning Cy Young Award winners, so Skeens and Skubal, and both reigning MVPs, Judge and Ohtani, are participating. So that just speaks to, like we were saying, that the stars want to participate in this event.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a star-studded event and starts in March, and we'll talk more about this as we get closer. As well. Coming up next, the Brewers and Red Sox made a trade that does likely have Cubs implications and some fun with Valentine's Day. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Locked On Cubs, the #1 podcast on the Chicago Cubs. And we give you everything a Cubs fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Last segment of this Tuesday episode is a couple things. The Brewers traded Caleb Durbin, who I felt at times was a spark plug for them last year. They traded him to the Red Sox for a package of prospects. Red Sox were looking for infield help, namely at third or second. And after apparently a wide search, they got a player that was not even wasn't even a speck of rumors about Durbin. So the Brewers make another trade. They traded Freddie Peralta earlier this offseason. They traded Isaac Collins, and now Caleb Durbin goes to the Red Sox. The package of prospects equivalent to the Cubs, not sure, but the early indications are the Red Sox did pay a pretty good price for Durbin, and because of that, are no longer pursuing Matt Shaw, if they ever even were in the first place. JT, I could see a connection there with Craig Breslow, former Cubs front office. Matt Shaw signed through 2031. He could be the Red Sox third baseman for many, many years, but I really think the Cubs are committed to this. He's the 10th man this year, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Completely agree. I didn't dive into this in terms of the return that the Brewers got.
Yeah.
It usually annoys me because they're beginning to be like the Rays and that they just don't lose trades. So I know whoever they got, they're going to be good. That's okay. We need to go on the field and beat them. It's as simple as that. So the best news of the day, though, was that this just tells me that Matt Shaw's staying in Chicago. And one reason I love that, I think it's going to lower the pressure on him. I think I don't think we know him too well personally, but he seems like he really cares, and he takes a lot of it personally. And I think it really affected him when he wasn't hitting at the beginning of the year. I think now, this second year coming in, he knows what to expect. He's got guys like Bregman and Dansby and Nico there who are in his ear talking to him. And I really expect a good year from him. The second point that I think is so important is that last year we were undeniably healthy in our everyday, besides Amaya, in our everyday lineup. We were remarkably healthy. And I just you can't bank on that 2 years in a row. And so having that depth there with Matt Shaw, who could play anywhere in the infield, I think he'll be able to play anywhere in the outfield here before too long when he keeps working on that. Having a guy like that is so important. And kudos to Jed for making that happen.
Yeah, I counted that almost right after the season ended. The Cubs had, I believe, 6 players who played over 145 games, which is remarkable. And Tucker played like 132.
Yeah.
So it was really, really impressive. They're basically available the whole time. Yeah, I like Matt Shaw shagging flies and right. I like what I'm seeing so far out of his BP sessions. And he's going to get opportunities. It's not like, he's just going to sit there. He's not Justin Turner. He's not
right.
He's going to get time. And by the way, Craig Counsell needs to figure that out too. He doesn't want Matt Shaw just to sit there, much less Jed Hoyer. So I think there's going to be, it's not going to be scripted, but there's going to be an organized plan for him.
I like that you took the opportunity when Sam wasn't here to talk about somebody's spring training VP. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You really, yes. Thank you. And appreciate you listening to the episode on Monday right away. Yeah. Well, listen, if he's making a mechanical adjustment, that's early evidence to say, hey, maybe it's working. I
love that he's eliminating the leg kick. He is not Julio Franco. Let's get rid of that leg kick.
Yeah, well, that's hard. It's such a hard thing to execute every swing and to have a repeatable swing. Yeah, for sure. All right. I liked your idea as we were tossing around some third segment things the other day. So I wanted to move forward with the Valentine's Day theme, Irrational love for random Cubs. And so I want to start with one because I only have one.
Okay.
Because it was so clear to me.
Okay.
In 2010, I mean, granted, he ended up playing 135 games, this guy I'm about to reveal. But I remember in 2010, following a team for as bad as they were, following just showing the diehard that I am, even when I was in college at the time.
Yes.
I didn't understand why every game Soriano had to play, Bird, Kosuke. At the time, I would tell my dad, like, they're not the future. Play Tyler Colvin more.
Love him. Yep. Number 37.
He ended up playing 135 games that year, hit 254 with 20 homers. And you better believe he did because he should have. And I just remember being a huge Tyler Colvin guy, JT.
Yeah, love Tyler Colvin. He was a great player. Number 37, right?
That doesn't sound right. No.
And I think, was he the one?
I think he wore 21.
Was he the one who hit the foul ball and the bat hit Gary Matthews Jr.?
Oh, man. Yeah, I think so. He had hit someone. I don't know if it was Gary Matthews Jr., but yeah, I seem to remember an incident like that. Tyler Colvin. Yeah, he was 19 and then 21 for jersey numbers. So, did you have an irrational love for a player? You mentioned a lefty hitter in our email exchange, but who did you end up picking?
Top irrational Cub that I love is Rod Beck, the shooter, number 47. He only played with us for a year and a half. 1998, one of my favorite teams. He had 51 saves, just locked down. Besides Chip Carey calling Sammy Sosa home runs, the thing I remember him for the most is Rod Beck when he would get a save and just go nuts. I actually have a funny personal story with Rod Beck. I went to a game once in that 98 year and sitting in the bleachers in right field during warmups, he's out there shagging fly balls. He looks like he was hungover. He's got the flowing hair. In his back pocket, he's got 2 bottles of Gatorade. And somehow I got his attention and yelled at him, hey, Rod, can I get a ball? So he got a ball. He signed it, threw it up to me in right field. I looked at it. It said Rodney Beck. I don't know if he went by Rodney off the field, if that was just him being funny, but ever since then I refer to him as Rodney Beck. So I love that guy.
JT, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much, Matt. I had a really good time, and appreciate all that you and Sam do every day for us Cub fans, keeping us plugged in.
And it means a lot for you to have your listenership and you and JoJo keeping tabs with us as much as you do. Thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen of the day. For those of you on video, we're about to send you the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel, and on audio, make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. He's JT Henderson. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.